We are obviously preparing for a big game on Saturday. We hope it's not our last game of the year. Obviously, there's only so much we can control, but we want to make sure that we do our part all week to prepare. And we have our hands full with a really good opponent who's the already clinched the regular season championship. Obviously, last year won the tournament championship, won a game in the NCAA tournament, and we have our hands full with getting ready for them, and we want to do everything we can to put ourselves in position where if the other results in the league break the way we need them to, that we've done our part to put ourselves in position to have more basketball after this Saturday. So, great senior class that we'll be honoring on Senior Day. Excited for a hopefully a big crowd and a great opportunity for us to respond from a tough loss on Saturday. But I think we've learned a lot about our team since the first time we played these guys, and we feel good about our chances if we play well.
Mike, just what would you say what the legacy of this senior class would be? Things that they had to deal with early on, coming into the program, and then obviously competing every year as they have.
Yeah, this is the class that they didn't have their senior AAU summer, right? The normal kind of viewing period because it was COVID and it was dead and there was no one allowed out, no college coaches allowed out. Not most of them did get an official visit, but not all of them because you weren't allowed to have a visits from March of their junior year on. So I just think, wow, how much has changed since these guys all decided to come to Brown. We're grateful that they all chose to come. They made an impact right away. They've led us to some really great moments, and we've been through a ton with them. And obviously, I think you know, we'll all think about what may have been had we had Nana all year, but this class either way has made a huge impact on Brown basketball. They left the jersey in a better place than they found it, and they're all going to go on to do great things. So, yeah, I'm grateful that they chose Brown, and I've had the chance to coach him.
In particular with Keno, 5, 10 years down the road, if there's maybe a word that comes to mind that you could describe him when you talk about him, his legacy, what would that word be?
I would just say, I mean, he's a special person. He's a special player. He's an unbelievable teammate. He always makes the right basketball play. He's unselfish. He's unassuming, and obviously he's accomplished a great amount. And his talent is very unique. Brown basketball's been playing for a long time. We've had some really great players. Keno. Uh, he's unique. I don't know how many guys that have been able to do what he can do with the ball in his hands and without the ball, and just his like you can count on him, his reliability. You can coach him hard and demand a lot out of him, and yeah, he's been a special player to have in our program.
Lastly, for me, when you coach against a James Jones team, how much is it about the details and making sure the details are tight and you're paying attention to those?
Yeah, those are always really important, and certainly against these guys because they're so they complement each other so well with how they play the game. But I think even before that, if you don't physically bring it, you're gonna have a hard time. So like defending at the rim, defending one-on-one, boxing out, rebounding, playing through a lot of physicality at the other end. Like you must be ready for the physical battle that awaits. And I think we are. I think we've really grown in that area. You look at, some of the struggles early on in league play with defending the paint, defending the rim, scoring in the paint. We've made a lot of progress in those areas, and hopefully we can get some of our shooting, back to form that we had prior to this past weekend. And if we do all those things, we're a pretty good basketball team.
Mike, it's been a couple of years since you've gone in the last weekend and maybe not had conference tournament stakes or conference championship stakes to play for. So I wonder just how different or similar this preparation might be for Yale.
Well, in our minds, it's all right there for us. There's huge stakes in this game. If we don't win, we're out. If we win, we have a path. So, very similar to what we were in here 2 years ago when they came into our building, and that one was clear, winning in. This one is win, and obviously need some help. But yeah, it's the prep has been pretty normal for us. I think. Um, anytime you play Yale, it means anytime you play one in our league, it means a lot. But like, this is a team that they're close by. We've played them a lot. They're our travel partners, and you want to, whether you have a chance to play in the postseason or not, you want to beat them, and you want to protect your home court. And it's the last regular season home game for all of our seniors, so we want to there's a lot there for us, and the preparation's been good. We got to, finish that up here today and tomorrow. But and again, our whole thing is like, let's do our part, and if everything falls the way it needs to, then we'll be playing next weekend. If it doesn't fall the way we need to, then we won't. But if we don't do our part, there's no chance.
Okay, my apologies. Clearly, I misunderstood the tiebreakers. Can you explain them to me?
I don't know who can explain those tiebreakers to you. But I know this. If we finish in a two-way tie with Princeton at 7-7, we're in. If we finish in a three-way tie with Princeton and Harvard at 7-7, Princeton's in because they have a season sweep over Harvard. And if we finish 6-8, the offseason is begun for the Brown Bears.
So,
Okay.
Bill, what has to happen is Brown has to beat Yale, Penn has to win at Princeton, and Dartmouth needs to beat Harvard. If those three things happen, Brown gets in.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Coach, the Yale's coming off of their first league loss of the year against Harvard. What did you see on film from that game? What did Harvard do to pull off the win over the Bulldogs?
They played really well. They played really hard. They played really well connected together. Harvard's been they're 4-2 in their last six games. Basically the second round of Ivy play, second only to Yale. Us and Harvard, and I think Dartmouth maybe are 4-2 in round two. So Harvard's been playing really good basketball. I don't think it's a whole lot negative about Yale the other day. I'm sure they didn't shoot it the way they want to. I'm sure they feel like they could have played a lot better, but winning at Harvard's not easy to do. They played really well, really inspired. They shared the ball. They defended with great physicality. They competed on the glass. They competed in the paint. And, Harvard runs good offense. Like five guys moving, cutting, sharing the ball. And, they had it going. They got to a good rhythm offensively, and they were really, really competitive defensively, especially with their physicality in the paint, and at the on the backboards.
Mike, you talked about the seniors a little bit, and kind of going back to Keno. I mean, shoot, you played with and you've coached two of the greatest players, arguably, in this program's history. I mean, I don't know if you want to put a spot on it, but where does Keno rank in terms of the all-time greats in Brown basketball history? He's right up there, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably defer to some others who've seen a whole lot more Brown hoops than I have, but hard to say he's not in the conversation. And yeah, he's just, again, as a coach, obviously there's a lot of things that you really value when you have someone who is as loyal and as committed and as coachable as he is, and you combine that with his outstanding talent. Those guys don't come along all the time. So, uh, you know, I uh, I just hope I have more than one game left to coach him, because he's been that much of a joy to coach, as has his classmates. I mean, this is a special class, a five-man class that have been here since day one. We didn't add to the class in the portal. Nobody left. Nobody walked away from the program. Like, these five started in September of 2021 together, and here they are at the end of their careers together, and they've done a ton for our program. So these guys deserve the opportunity to beat Yale on their last day, last regular season home game. With that said, what a challenge, right? And to beat Yale because those guys are really good.
Mike, I'll jump in with another. You mentioned Nana earlier. Just not having him on the floor, obviously disappointing, but what has he done to sort of further the program this year and helping guys like Landon and Dabo in their growth and setting you up for the future here for success?
I mean, he represents all of our core values, to the best he can. But you think about like we always talk about the commitment we have to everyone who has come before us and everyone who will come after us, to do your part and leave the jersey in a better place you found it. And even though he's not playing, he's showed that commitment through and through with how he's mentored his young peers, how he has led the entire team as much as he can without being on the court in game situations. And, he's doing that for all the guys that have come before him and everyone who will come after him. This program means a lot to him, and he has shown that through the example he provides every day.